So the White House just hit the panic button as New York State Attorney General Letitia James has just encountered a major roadblock. So a lot of critics of Letitia James, they're wondering, where's her smug demeanor gone now that she knows that Donald Trump is now worth billions and billions more dollars thanks to Truth Social? Now, this has close allies of President Joe Biden sounding the alarm because Donald Trump may just end up winning the 2024 presidential elections, something that would undoubtedly infuriate James even worse. Now, as you guys might already be aware of, an appeals court lowered the former president's bond for his New York civil fraud case by more than half. So originally it was set for like $464 million, but then it was ultimately lowered to $175 million, which is another win for Donald Trump that has Letitia James incredibly on edge. Now, to add to that, a lot of experts are also calling on the former president to go ahead and just sue Letitia James, kind of like a reverse card, because it seems as if Donald Trump has a lot of things that he can go after her for, which means that Letitia James could soon very well be going to court against Donald Trump for all the wrong reasons.
Do you think that Donald Trump should sue New York Attorney General Letitia James, and on what grounds?
I think she should. I saw an interesting little comment of hers I'd not seen before the other day. She said when she was running for Attorney General that she wants to fight an administration that's too male, too pale, and too stale. Now, you can talk about stale ideas, that's fine, but too male and too pale, that constitutes basically sex and race discrimination. So I think what President Trump ought to do is sue her on the basis of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Her office gets federal money, in fact, $311 million approximately for various subsidies for law enforcement activity. So the federal money is flowing into her office, and if she is engaged in that kind of sexual and racial discrimination and that kind of language, I think she's wide open to exposure on the 64 Civil Rights Act. Donald J. Trump should sue Letitia James on the basis of civil rights.
The tables may be turning on Letitia James, and it's not going to be a good look for her if Donald Trump wins this fraud case, a case that has no victims whatsoever. Now, of course, she can argue that these comments, they were made years ago, but that didn't stop any of them from going after Donald Trump on an election year, did it? I mean, we're talking about the likes of Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, Alvin Bragg, Jack Smith, and of course, Letitia James. And like I said a while ago, sources close to Letitia James, they're basically saying that she's kicking the ground because of the strides that Donald Trump has still been making with her case. She's mad, guys. She's upset. One of which pertains to the immense wealth that the former president is now due. So within the first day of Trump's Truth Social hitting NASDAQ, shares of the Truth Social stock soared by 16%. Analysts from different walks of life, they're now saying that this is the best way to support Trump because donating to his campaign won't really result in a return. But with this method, there is a chance that you could make a killing in the stock market and contribute to Trump's legal bills as well. This is not stock advice, but this is what some people are saying out here. So it's an easy win-win situation for the former president and for his many supporters. I mean, just days ago, the outlook was that Trump's shares were worth like $3.5 billion. Now, if we fast forward to recent figures, he's now looking at stocks ballooning to around $4.6 billion. This has supporters flocking to the social media app Truth Social, urging conservatives to get behind the stock and send it over the $100 per share price. Now, of course, you can also get in on this craze by checking out the common stock of Trump Media and Technology Group that's under the ticker symbol DJT on the NASDAQ if you guys are interested in looking into that. But of course, you have to think first, always put forth due diligence, and know before getting in if this is something that you want to invest in. Always do your homework, guys.
And it's an astonishing windfall for Donald Trump. His fortune just skyrocketed as Truth Social stock takes off.
Shares are soaring.
This is pretty extraordinary.
Shares in Truth Social started trading Tuesday under Trump's initials, DJT. And they're selling like hotcakes. Investment experts are stunned.
DJT, it is exploding on the scene right now. So this stock is really defying the logic.
Trump owns 58% of the company, potentially worth up to $5 billion, quadrupling his wealth overnight. But not so fast. Trump's stock bonanza is just on paper for now. He can't actually sell any stock for 6 months.
So critics of Donald Trump, though, feel as if this is just a fad. One analyst even went as far as to say that the stock price of Truth Social would fall by 95% soon, which makes the recent updates on this stock that much more infuriating for people who don't like the former president, because shares jumped as well on the second day of trading. Shares of Truth Social rose by 14% to $66.22 per share recently, which means that the $4.6 billion stake that Donald Trump has swiftly spiked to $5.2 billion. So this is complete opposite from what Attorney General Letitia James and Judge Arthur Engeron want. Critics point out that they want Donald Trump to go bankrupt, and they want to steal his properties in New York, an act that many say will not be possible now given Trump's insane momentum. So his momentum is also not lost within the sights of former President Barack Obama. In fact, he was in the family dining room of the White House recently to talk with President Biden. Now, even though reports say that the mood was light and that the two exchanged jokes and all that, some analysts say that this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the question as to why a former president has to spend several hours talking to an incumbent president can only mean one thing: they are in trouble. In fact, the Democratic Party is in trouble, and Biden is slowly slipping behind in this year's presidential race. The small reunion also saw the meeting of their respective staff, many of whom have known each other since the Obama administration time. And we're not sure if this is further confirmation that this is, in fact, Obama's third term, but some critics of both men have said that this is most probably the case. In fact, inside sources have confirmed that Obama has remained in direct contact with some of the top White House officials, including Joe Biden's chief of staff, Jeff Zients. Now, even with Donald Trump facing multiple legal charges, Obama says that this rematch is expected to be very, very close. In fact, he added that the 2024 presidential elections marks an all-hands-on-deck moment, with many top Democrats working very closely to help President Joe Biden. One of those people that's being brought on board to help Joe Biden is former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. So in a call, Obama emphasized that they have a chance to do more for the American people, but it's only possible if we send Joe and Kamala back to the White House in November. I don't know if I want any more being done for the American people, thanks Joe. But here's the thing: both President and Vice President Kamala Harris have seen their approval ratings crash in recent months. So there's a poll that's out there right now from Reuters showing that a whopping 56% of Americans disapprove of President Joe Biden. Another poll showed that 55% of Americans had an unfavorable opinion of Vice President Kamala Harris. So it's easy to see why the White House is now panicking and basically reversing course. And the same could be said for the likes of Letitia James, as it looks like she's not going to get any of Trump's esteemed properties in New York City. And there's also a high possibility that the case against Donald Trump could even get reversed and would probably just straight up embarrass Letitia James after all the trash talking that she's been doing on social media. The concentrated effort to get Donald Trump in trouble, it's just not working. And now the Biden campaign is left scrambling to try and get any advantage over Trump, something that experts predict will be incredibly difficult to do. But what do you guys think about all this? And as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna do my best to keep you guys updated and informed on everything that's going on. I just want to thank you guys so much for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing this video, and I'll see you on the next one.